He healed the alien Empress's scars, never knowing she'd make him her chosen mate, the summons doctor. Maya Chen stared at the holographic invitation hovering above her desk, its crystalline edges pulsing with a light that seemed impossibly alive. 3 times she'd waved her hand through it, expecting the projection to dissipate like ordinary holograms. Each time it reformed, more insistent than before. "They're quite serious about you, it seems," remarked Dr. Elias Kapoor, leaning against her office doorway with poorly disguised curiosity. "The Nixorans rarely reach beyond their star system, let alone specifically request a human physician." Maya tucked a strand of dark hair behind her ear. "I've never even heard of them. Why me?" "Your research on trauma-induced energy disruption isn't as obscure as you think." Elias handed her a data tablet. "They've been monitoring Earth publications. Your theories about emotional healing affecting physiological recovery caught their attention." The invitation chimed softly, translating itself into more precise language. "The Sovereign of Nixora requests the presence of Maya Chen, healer of unseen wounds. Our emissaries will arrive within 1 lunar cycle. What exactly is wrong with their queen?" Maya asked, scanning the limited information provided about Nixora, a crystalline planet orbiting a binary star, inhabited by a humanoid species with advanced biotechnology and peculiar energy manipulation abilities. "That's the interesting part," Elias replied. "They won't say. Their medical records only indicate it's something their healers can't address, something about resonance disruption." 3 weeks later, Maya found herself aboard the Nixoran vessel Luminara, watching Earth shrink to a blue pinprick against the vast darkness of space. The ship itself was unlike any human craft. Semi-transparent walls that responded to thought, corridors that seemed to breathe with living light. Her guide, Zephyr Vox, stood nearly 7 feet tall with skin that shifted between deep purple and midnight blue depending on the angle of light. His eyes, entirely silver with no visible pupils, regarded Maya with undisguised skepticism. "You are smaller than expected," he observed as they entered Maya's quarters. "How can one so fragile mend our queen?" "Size isn't everything," Maya replied, setting down her medical case. "Sometimes the smallest tools perform the most delicate repairs." Zephyr's skin flickered momentarily. "A curious response. Perhaps this is why she chose you." He gestured toward a shimmering wall panel. "Rest. We arrive at Nixora in 16 hours. The Queen's condition worsens with each passing day. Can you at least tell me what I'm dealing with? Symptoms? Duration?" "Queen Selene was injured during the astral convergence 3 cycles ago. Her physical wounds have healed, but her luminescent fields remain damaged. She no longer resonates with our communal energy. She exists in silence where once there was harmony." His voice dropped. "It is killing her, slowly but certainly." Later, alone in her quarters, Maya studied what limited information she had on Nixoran physiology. Their species processed emotion as visible energy, manifesting as colored auras that could interact with their environment. This emotional resonance was as vital to them as breathing. As Maya drifted to sleep, the stars outside her viewport seemed to coalesce into a face, sharp-featured and hauntingly beautiful. With eyes that held both pain and ancient wisdom, a voice like wind through crystal whispered in her mind, "Help me remember how to shine." Maya woke with a start, her heart racing. On her bedside table, her medical scanner was registering unusual energy patterns in the room, patterns that matched nothing in its database, yet somehow felt familiar, like a song half-remembered from childhood. Tomorrow, she would meet Queen Selene, and somehow Maya sensed she already had. At first contact, the royal palace of Nixora rose from the crystalline landscape like a symphony frozen in mid-note. Towering spires of luminescent crystal captured the binary star's light, fracturing it into cascading ribbons of color that danced across the palace grounds. Maya followed Zephyr through corridors where the walls themselves seemed to hum with subtle vibrations. "The palace responds to emotional resonance," Zephyr explained, noting Maya's fascination. "For generations, the royal line has maintained harmony throughout our realm. Their resonance connects all Nixorans in a shared emotional field." His expression darkened. "Until now, They paused before massive doors inlaid with spiraling patterns of opalescent stone. "You must understand," Zephyr said quietly. "What you see beyond these doors is not to be discussed with anyone. The Queen's condition remains a closely guarded secret." The doors parted silently. Inside, the royal chamber was bathed in soft, diffused light that seemed deliberately muted. At its center stood a circular bed surrounded by monitoring equipment far more advanced than anything Maya had seen on Earth. And upon it lay Queen Selene. Maya's breath caught. The Queen's skin was a deep violet that seemed to pulse with internal light, except for jagged patterns across her torso and right side that remained dull and static. Her eyes, when they opened to regard the newcomers, were the color of twilight, with flecks of silver like distant stars. "The human healer arrives," Selene spoke, her voice melodic yet strained. "Approach, Dr. Chen." Maya stepped forward, medical scanner already in hand. "Your Majesty, I'm honored by your invitation. May I examine you?" "You already have," Selene replied with the faintest smile. "In dreams." The Queen's condition defied conventional diagnosis. Her physical body showed signs of healed trauma, evidence of injuries sustained and repaired. But Maya's scanner detected unusual energy disruptions centered around the discolored patches of skin. "It's as though these areas aren't just scars," Maya explained as she worked. "They're disconnected somehow from your body's energy flow." "Precisely." Selene winced as Maya's fingers gently probed a darkened area. "Our healers call it resonance fracturing. The injury wasn't just to my body, but to my ability to project and receive emotional energy." Maya frowned. "Like neural pathway damage, but for emotional processing?" "In human terms, yes." Selene's gaze was intense. "Our bodies heal, but emotional trauma creates blockages in our energy fields. Most Nyxorans recover naturally, but mine has persisted. As Queen, my resonance affects the entire realm. My silence is beginning to harm my people." For days, Maya tried conventional therapies, targeted neural stimulation, regenerative field therapy, even modified versions of Earth's EMDR techniques. Nothing produced lasting results. The Queen's damaged areas would briefly illuminate during treatment, only to fade again afterward. During their 6th session, Maya set aside her equipment in frustration. "I'm missing something fundamental about how your species processes emotion." Selene reached out, her slender fingers hovering just above Maya's hand. "Perhaps it is time for directness. Would you consent to a shallow meld? It would allow me to show you what words cannot explain." Before Maya could respond, Zephyr stepped forward from his position by the door. "My Queen, the Council expressly forbade resonance sharing with the human." "The risks are mine to take," Selene finished firmly. "Leave us, Zephyr." When they were alone, Selene explained. "Our species can share emotional states through direct energy transfer. It's intimate, but it might help you understand what's happening inside me." "Like empathic telepathy?" Maya asked, intrigued despite her nervousness. "Something like that." Maya nodded her consent. Selene's fingertips made contact with her temples, and the world dissolved into pure sensation. Maya felt it immediately, a profound emptiness where there should have been connection, like standing in a silent room once filled with music. She saw memories through Selene's perception, a devastating attack during a planetary alignment ceremony, energy weapons that disrupted not just flesh, but the very essence of Nyxoran identity. She felt Selene's isolation, her inability to reach her people through the resonance field that connected all Nyxorans. When the connection broke, Maya found tears streaming down her face, and was startled to see the damaged areas on Selene's skin flickering with weak purple light. "Your empathy," Selene whispered, wonder in her voice. "It resonates despite your human physiology." That night, Maya dreamed of crystal gardens and twin suns. She woke to find her quarters bathed in a soft purple glow that faded as consciousness returned. On her bedside table, her scanner showed unprecedented readings. Her own brainwave patterns had shifted, adopting harmonics similar to Nyxoran patterns. What neither woman realized was that this first resonance sharing had initiated an ancient process, one that would bind them together in ways neither could predict. Illumination. The human's influence on the Queen is concerning, Council Elder Thorne declared, his dark blue skin flashing with agitated crimson patterns. 3 foreign physicians before her tried and failed. Why does this one affect Her Majesty's resonance? Zephyr stood before the council chamber, outwardly calm, though his skin betrayed flickers of anxiety. Dr. Chen's methods are unconventional, but the Queen improves. Her damaged fields show the first signs of regeneration. That is precisely what troubles us, said Elder Lyra, her ancient face creased with worry. You know our traditions, Zephyr. If this human fully restores the Queen's resonance, the oral bond would be inevitable, Zephyr finished. I am aware of the risk. Does the human know what she initiates? Asked another elder. No, Zephyr admitted. The Queen has forbidden me from explaining. Meanwhile, in the royal chambers, Maya and Selena had established a new treatment protocol. Each day began with a brief resonance connection, followed by targeted energy work focusing on the damaged areas. With each session, the Queen's dull patches glowed increasingly brighter, staying illuminated for longer periods after treatment. Tell me about Earth, Selene requested during a rest period, her voice stronger than it had been days earlier. I've only seen it through data transmissions. Maya described the oceans and forests, the bustling cities and quiet mountains. As she spoke, she noticed the Queen's skin brightening, responding to her enthusiasm. Your emotion is the catalyst, Maya realized aloud. When I feel strongly during our sessions, your resonance responds more powerfully, Selene smiled. You begin to understand. Our species evolved to process emotion as energy. But what makes you unique is that you project emotional energy without realizing it, purely, without the self-consciousness that can block our own people's projections. That evening, Maya experienced another vivid dream, this time seeing through Selena's eyes the moment of her injury. A ceremonial gathering, a sudden explosion of light, and then pain as energy weapons designed specifically to disrupt Nick's Auran resonance fields tore through her. Maya felt Selene's anguish as her connection to her people was violently severed, leaving her in silent isolation. She woke, gasping, her room once again suffused with purple light. But this time, a figure stood beside her bed, Selene herself, somehow projecting her presence across the distance between their chambers. You saw, Selena's projection whispered. My memories become yours. The attack. Who would do such a thing? Maya asked. The void ascendancy. Selene's image flickered. They believe emotional resonance makes us weak. They seek to liberate us by destroying our connections. Her projection stepped closer. But there is something else you should know. Each night when you dream of me, a connection forms between us. It grows stronger, becoming something rare among my people. Before Maya could ask what she meant, Zephyr burst into the room, staring at Selene's projection with alarm. My Queen! You should not be here, he said urgently. The human must be told the truth before this progresses further. Selene's projection wavered. Tomorrow, she promised, fading away. The next morning, Maya found Zephyr waiting outside her quarters. His usual composure was absent, his skin rippling with concerned indigo patterns. Walk with me, he said without preamble. They moved through a secluded garden where crystal formations hummed softly in response to their presence. There is a tradition among our people, Zephyr began carefully. When one being restores another's resonance field after severe trauma, a bond forms naturally between them. This is called the oral bond, a connection that transcends ordinary relationships. Maya slowed her pace. What exactly are you saying? I'm saying, Zephyr replied gravely, that your treatments are not just healing the Queen. They are binding you to her in our most sacred form of partnership. And once complete, such bonds cannot be severed without devastating consequences to both parties. A partnership, Maya repeated. You mean like marriage? More profound. A sharing of essence. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, all experienced together. It is rare even among our own kind. Zephyr's expression softened slightly. The Queen knows this. She has known since your first resonance sharing. Maya stopped walking entirely, mind racing. Why wouldn't she tell me? Because she is desperate to heal, Zephyr said simply. And because I suspect She has grown to care for you in ways she did not anticipate. As Maya processed this revelation, alarms suddenly blared throughout the palace. Zephyr's skin flashed alert patterns and he grabbed Maya's arm. "The palace is under attack," he said, pulling her toward a concealed doorway. "The Void Ascendancy has come to finish what they started." Confluence alarms screamed through the crystalline corridors as Zephyr guided Maya through hidden passages beneath the palace. The walls around them pulsed with warning patterns, their usual harmonious glow replaced by urgent flashes of crimson and amber. "The Void Ascendancy waited for the perfect moment," Zephyr explained as they hurried downward. "With the Queen's resonance still fractured, our defensive systems are compromised. They seek to eliminate her before she fully recovers." "We need to get to Selene," Maya insisted, her heart racing with unfamiliar fear that somehow wasn't entirely her own. "That is precisely where we're going," Zephyr replied. "The royal sanctuary lies beneath the palace, a chamber shielded from energy weapons. They emerged into a vast underground cavern where massive crystal formations rose like ancient sentinels. At its center stood a circular platform surrounded by luminescent pools that reflected the crystalline ceiling in perfect symmetry. Selene was already there, attended by royal guards whose skin flickered with battle readiness. "Maya," the Queen's voice carried across the chamber. Her expression showed both relief and concern. "You're unharmed." As Maya approached, she felt a strange pulling sensation between them, as though invisible threads were trying to weave their energies together. Selene obviously felt it too, her damaged patches momentarily brightening. "The bond grows stronger," Selene acknowledged quietly when Maya reached her side. "Zephyr has told you?" Maya nodded. "Why didn't you?" Before Selene could answer, the cavern shuddered as explosions resonated from above. Dust and crystal fragments showered down from the ceiling. "They've breached the upper levels," a guard reported, his skin flashing urgent patterns. "We have minutes." "Perhaps less," Selene said, turning to Maya with sudden intensity. "I must show you something before they reach us." Without waiting for permission, she pressed her palms to Maya's temples. The connection formed instantly, deeper than before. Maya saw flashes of Nixoran history, the evolution of their resonance abilities, the sacred nature of the bond forming between them. She understood now that the oral bond was not just partnership but survival, two beings becoming something greater than either could be alone. When Selene withdrew her hands, Maya gasped at what remained, a visible thread of lavender energy connecting them, pulsing in rhythm with their heartbeats. "The primary connection is established," Selene explained urgently. "But its completion requires mutual consent and the final ritual. Without it, this partial bond will eventually fade." A tremendous crash reverberated through the sanctuary. Through the main entrance strode three figures in obsidian armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Their faces were covered by featureless masks, and they carried weapons that hummed with destructive energy. "Queen Selene," the leader's voice was distorted, mechanical. "Your resonance disrupts the natural evolution of our species. Emotional dependency weakens us. Today, we sever the final royal connection." The guards moved to intercept, but the assassin's weapons discharged waves of energy that disrupted their resonance fields instantly. They collapsed, their skin dulling to ashen gray. Maya felt Selene's fear and determination through their partial bond. Without thinking, she stepped between the Queen and the approaching assassins. "You've caused enough harm," Maya declared, surprising herself with her own boldness. The assassin leader paused. "A human? Fascinating. You have no place in this evolutionary correction." "You're wrong," Maya replied. "I'm connected to her now." The leader raised his weapon. "Then you will share her fate." Time seemed to slow. As the weapon discharged, Maya felt Selene's hands clasp hers from behind. The partial bond between them flared brilliantly, and somehow, instinctively, Maya understood what to do. She focused her emotions, not suppressing her fear but channeling it, transforming it into fierce, protective determination. The energy from their joined hands erupted outward in a wave of blindingly bright purple light. When it struck the assassin's disruptive beam, the opposing energies created a deafening concussion that threw everyone backward. Maya recovered first, dazed but unharmed. The assassins lay unconscious, their weapons shattered. Beside her, Celine was breathing hard, her formerly damaged areas now glowing with steady light. "What just happened?" Maya asked, helping Celine to her feet. "The partial bond," Celine explained, wonder in her voice. "It's stronger than I anticipated. Your emotional projection amplified my remaining resonance abilities." Zephyr approached cautiously, his skin displaying patterns of astonishment. "My queen, your damaged fields, they're stabilizing," Celine nodded. "The crisis has accelerated the healing process." She turned to Maya, her expression grave despite her joy. "But now you face a choice that cannot be delayed. The bond between us has progressed too far to remain in this intermediate state. Either it must be completed through the final ritual, binding us permanently." She hesitated. "Or you must return to Earth immediately before the connection becomes irreversible." "How long do I have to decide?" Maya asked, suddenly aware of how much had changed in such a short time. "Until the stellar alignment 3 days from now," Celine replied softly. "After that, separation would harm us both." As palace security forces arrived to take the assassins into custody, Maya stood at a crossroads between worlds, one familiar but distant, the other alien yet increasingly calling to her heart. Resonance. The grand chamber of celestial harmony buzzed with anticipation. Nyxora's twin suns had begun their rare alignment, casting prismatic light through the palace's crystal dome. Hundreds of Nyxorans gathered for the ceremony, their skin shimmering with excitement that rippled through the collective resonance field, like wind across water. Maya watched from a small antechamber, heart racing. After 3 days of intense soul-searching, she had made her decision, but doubt still flickered at the edges of her mind. "The transport to Earth departs in 1 hour," Zephyr reminded her, his tone carefully neutral. "If you choose to return, we must leave before the alignment reaches its peak." Maya nodded absently, remembering the messages she'd exchanged with Elias. Her colleague had been simultaneously fascinated and alarmed by her descriptions of the bond. "Consider carefully," he'd warned. "Once this connection is complete, your life on Earth ends. Are you willing to become something entirely new, neither fully human nor Nyxoran?" The chamber door opened, revealing Elder Lyra. Her ancient face was solemn, but Maya detected undertones of hope in the subtle patterns illuminating her pale blue skin. "It is time, Dr. Chen," she announced. "The Queen awaits your decision." Maya followed Elder Lyra through corridors filled with Nyxorans who regarded her with curious, hopeful gazes. News of the Queen's improving condition had spread, along with rumors of the human healer who had accomplished what their own physicians could not. The great hall fell silent as Maya entered. Celine stood at its center, resplendent in ceremonial attire that accentuated her fully restored resonance fields. The damaged patches had healed completely, her violet skin now uniformly luminescent with subtle patterns that shifted with her emotions. As their eyes met, Maya felt the bond between them pulse stronger than ever. These past 3 days, they had maintained careful distance, both physical and emotional, to ensure Maya's choice would be truly free. Yet even separated, Maya had felt Celine's presence like a song playing just beyond hearing. "Dr. Maya Chen of Earth," Celine's voice carried throughout the hall. "You have healed what was broken and restored harmony to our realm. According to our most ancient traditions, an oral bond has begun to form between us." She extended her hand, palm upward. "The choice now lies with you. Will you complete this bond, joining your essence with mine, or will you return to your world?" Maya stepped forward, acutely aware of hundreds of eyes upon her. "Before I answer, I must know one thing." She took a deep breath. "Is this bond merely tradition and obligation for you, or is there more?" A ripple of surprise moved through the gathered Nyxorans at such directness. Celine's skin flickered with momentary vulnerability before settling into a steady glow. "When I first summoned you, I sought only healing," Celine admitted, her voice softer. "But in knowing your mind, feeling your compassion, I discovered something I never expected." Her skin brightened with unmistakable emotion. You ask if there is more than obligation. There is everything more. The sincerity in those words resonated through their partial bond, confirming what Maya had already begun to suspect, that what grew between them transcended the biological mechanics of Nyx Auron physiology. Then my answer is yes, Maya declared. I choose to complete the bond. Relief and joy cascaded through Selena's resonance field, visible as waves of brilliance across her skin. The assembled Nyx Aurons emitted a harmonious sound, part gasp, part musical chord. Before the ritual could begin, however, the hall's massive doors burst open. A contingent of Void Ascendancy supporters, led by one of the council elders, strode in. This abomination cannot be permitted, Elder Thorn declared, his skin flashing with angry patterns. A human cannot join with the royal resonance. It violates all natural order. The traditions make no specification about species, Selena countered calmly. Only that the one who restores royal resonance becomes bonded. Then perhaps the monarchy itself has outlived its purpose, Thorn suggested, his voice dangerous. Around him, his supporters' skin darkened ominously. Zephyr moved protectively towards Selene and Maya, but the Queen raised a hand to stop him. I understand your concerns, Selene addressed Thorn directly. Change frightens even the most evolved beings. But consider what we've witnessed. A human with no natural resonance abilities, nevertheless connected with our energy. Perhaps this suggests our species are not as different as we once believed. Pretty words cannot disguise sacrilege, Thorn insisted. Maya stepped forward. Your traditions speak of healing and connection. Would you abandon those principles simply because they've taken an unexpected form? As tension built in the hall, Maya felt something extraordinary. The partial bond between herself and Selene was resonating with the assembled Nyx Aurons. Their collective emotional field had begun synchronizing with the connection between Queen and Healer. Feel it, Selene urged the gathering. Our resonance grows stronger, not weaker, with this union. Maya's difference brings new harmonies to our collective song. The twin suns reached perfect alignment overhead, sending a shaft of concentrated light through the crystal dome. It struck the floor between Maya and Selene, fracturing into a rainbow that encircled them both. The alignment blesses this union, Elder Lyra announced, her ancient voice carrying unexpected authority. The choice has been made. The ritual must proceed. Even Elder Thorn could not argue with the celestial omen. His supporters reluctantly stepped back as Selene and Maya moved to stand within the circle of light. The final ritual was deceptively simple, their hands clasped, foreheads touching, as the assembled Nyx Aurons created a resonance field that enveloped the chamber. Maya felt the partial bond expanding, deepening, becoming permanent as their separate consciousnesses learned to coexist in harmonic balance. When it completed, Maya gasped at the sensation. She remained herself, yet could feel Selene's thoughts like gentle waves against the shore of her mind. Colors seemed more vivid, sounds more complex. Most astonishingly, her own skin now held the faintest purple luminescence, responding to her emotions just as Selene's did. The oral bond is complete, Elder Lyra proclaimed. Behold your queens! The announcement sent a shockwave through the hall. Queens? Thorn sputtered. This human cannot... The bond makes it so, Lyra explained firmly. One cannot rule without the other now. They are two aspects of a single sovereign essence. As the implications settled over the assembly, Maya turned to Selene, their new shared awareness allowing a depth of communication beyond words. Did you know this would happen? Maya's thought traveled clearly across their bond. I hoped Selene's reply came with affectionate amusement. Our realm needs new perspective, a bridge between worlds. Aloud, Selene addressed the gathering. Today marks not just a union between two beings, but potentially between two civilizations. Earth and Nyxara have much to learn from each other. Later, as celebration resonated throughout the palace, Maya and Selene stood on a private balcony overlooking the crystalline landscape. The twin suns had begun their slow separation, casting long shadows across the terrain. Having second thoughts? Selene asked, sensing Maya's contemplative mood. Not about us, Maya assured her. Just wondering what happens next. I'm hardly qualified to help rule an alien civilization. Selene's laughter vibrated pleasantly through their bond. Your qualification is precisely that you don't think like us. Your compassion healed me when our own methods failed. Perhaps your human perspective is exactly what Nick's aura needs to heal its deeper divisions. Maya turned to face her bondmate, still marveling at how natural it felt to share consciousness with this extraordinary being. I'm not sure I'll ever fully understand your people's customs or biology. Nor I yours, Celine replied, tracing a finger along Maya's cheek. But we have lifetimes to learn each other's mysteries. As their lips met, their resonance fields merged in a brilliant aurora of purple light that spiraled upward into the darkening sky, a beacon of connection visible across the entire realm, announcing the beginning of something entirely new.